letter again from yesterday. Join got me awake. Today I'm doing a different set of letters. So remember, the reason why I'm making these new letters is for the debt validation masterclass on Friday. So the debt validation masterclass that I'm doing on Friday, the letters that I'm making, last night we made 4 letters, in total, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So I have 12 letters so far that I'm going to be giving away to everyone that's in VIP on the debt validation masterclass. So let me put the number that you guys can um, reserve your seats at, because the seats are going and they are filling up fast. So let me get the oh, interesting. All right, so let me get the number real quick. All right, I need to find the text number. All right, so it's text validated to all right, so let me get this going. So text 917 810 3321 to join my debt validation masterclass. Oh, I got 3 on YouTube. What's going on, YouTube? How you guys doing? All right, let me pin this. Pin comment. All right, cool. All right. All right, cool. So, like I was saying, so the letters that I'm building, I'm new here. Is this a learning platform? Absolutely. You learn how to repair, rebuild, and restore your own credit. You also learn consumer laws, because I only teach consumer law. So you're in for a lot. Right now, I am building, I'm gonna build probably 1 or 2 letters tonight, because it's getting late already. I wasn't gonna come on live, guys, and I'm telling you, man, I've just been feeling a little under the weather, and one of the great things about having accountability partners is that they hold you accountable, right? How do you delete an auto loan? If you go on my website, you will see the auto loan deletion letter. Um, Accountability partners are important, because I told my accountability partner, I'm like, yo, man, I'm tired, I'm not feeling it. He's like, it's the all the more reasons you need to go on live. I'm like, God damn, bro, how you gonna use my own words against me? So you know what? I'm like, all right, bet. The letter that I'm gonna build tonight, um, this one is gonna be based around the CCFA. So New York passed a law called the Consumer Credit Fairness Act, and it's specific for New York. I believe each state might have their own spin off of it, but I'm not sure, so I can't speak on it. But I know for a fact that New York has the Consumer Credit Fairness Act. It's a law specifically for New Yorkers. So what I'll be doing tonight, I'm going to be building a debt validation letter based on this for New York. So right now I'm looking for the document. Where is the document? And this is how I need you guys to not the press release. Where is the document? This is how I need you guys to be researching on your state website, because your state website, it will have the information, especially on your Governor General's website. They're going to have it there. So Consumer Credit Fairness Act, on November 8th, 2021, boom, boom, boom. May 7th, so May 7th has gone. All right. So for those of you who are not aware of it, so if you're from New York, this is definitely going to be for you. You're going to resonate with this a lot more. So this says on November 8th, 2021, Governor Hochul signed into law the Consumer Credit Fairness Act. The intent behind this legislation is to protect consumers from abusive debt collection practices, which is why I write the letters, which is why everyone is here, right? We're here for the simple reason that we need to stop abusive debt collection practices. And it's also the other reason why I am doing the debt validation masterclass, so you can learn how to ask and request and demand proper debt validation, and don't accept their bills when they send it back as proof of validation, their statements, their contracts, their signature. That's not what the law says a proper debt validation is. So it's important that you guys learn what proper debt validation is and how to do it. So make sure that everybody gets your ticket. Everybody needs to get your ticket. Oh, all right. This is great information. Let me give you all this sauce. Tonight's gonna be a quick live, guys. It's gonna be a quick one. All right, listen to this. So this is the Consumer Credit Fairness Act, right? And basically, I'm just gonna give you an overview of what this is. On November 8, 2021, Governor Hochul signed into law the Consumer Credit Fairness Act Legislation S153A. So I'm going to be looking that up very soon. Control C. All right, so let's keep it moving. The intent behind the legislation is to protect consumers from abusive debt collection practices. The act requires creditors to provide consumers with detailed information pertaining to debts for which legal action has been commenced, as well as processes available to them for defending against a debt collection lawsuit. So basically, this law is to protect the consumer from debt collection lawsuits, right? The legislation amends the New York Civil Practice Law and rules and serves to expand consumers' protection. So the main key thing that we're getting here, that this law is for consumer protection. So that's the whole reason why they enacted this law to pass. So most notably, a new statute of limitation provision has been added to the law, which provides that any court action arising out of a consumer credit transaction where a purchaser, borrower, or debtor is the defendant must be commenced within 3 years after the cause of action occurs, typically when the debt is deemed in default of the obligation. So they're saying that basically there's a new statute of limitation. The new statute of limitation is now 3 years for New Yorkers instead of 6 years. This is a significant reduction from the prior 6-year statute of limitations. The new statute will not permit a consumer debt to be revived by payment or acknowledgement of the debt. So, by the consumer after the 3-year statute of limitations has expired. So, you know how when you pay some debts, you restart the statute of limitations on the debt? Well, this new law that New York passed, it prohibits a reset of the statute of limitation. So if you pay a debt that exceeds the statute of limitation, that doesn't restart the statute of limitation. So they banned the statute of limitation altogether. That's a huge win. That's a huge win. Because debt collection companies, they were using their abusive debt collection practices to trick consumers into paying $1, $2, $10 on a debt, which restarts the statute of limitations. So New York is saying that cannot happen anymore. The new statute of limitations for consumer credit transaction will take place April 7. We've passed that. There's also several other amendments to the new law that significantly increase the procedural requirements to obtain a judgment in a consumer credit transaction case. These amendments are effective May 7th. We're past that too, and are summarized below. All right, so key thing. For you to be sued in the state of New York now on an alleged debt, debt collectors must have a few things done. They cannot just sue you anymore. And this is what I'm going to build the first letter around. So the first letter is going to be built around this section. If a debt collector is trying to sue you, you're going to request some documents from them to make sure that they complied with New York State. So this letter is specifically for New Yorkers. What about California? I'm not sure. I haven't looked at California laws. But this is where you being here, learning and seeing what I'm doing for New York, you just run the same play for California. Look up what California laws are as it relates to protecting consumers from debt collectors, right? Sorry, guys. I am tired, bro. I am so tired. All right. So at least one letter. I'm getting at least one letter done tonight. All right. The complaint filed by the creditor's attorney to commence an action is based on a consumer credit transaction. Will need to have attached to it a copy of the underlying contract. All right. So let me start building this letter right now. I'm tired, guys. All right, so this letter can be sent one of two ways, right? If we know that the debt collector in question is represented by an attorney, the letter can be addressed to the attorney, and I would recommend that the I would recommend that the letter be sent to the attorney. That would be my recommendation. Why? Because when it reaches the attorney, action will take. There will be more action on the letter when the attorney gets it. I can him in between flights in Africa. I can. Y'all save this live. Okay, cool. All right. So that took that word. All right, so what I'm doing as I build my letters, I am using, so whichever law I'm on, so whether I'm on the state website or a government website, whatever website I'm on, I like to take my information straight from the source. So in this case, what I'm doing is I could address the lawyer. So creditor's name or creditor's lawyer, right? Name, creditor's address or creditor's lawyer, lawyer's address. All right, so now there are several things. So the first thing I'm going to say is I have received presentment, presentme. I have received a presentment from an agent on your behalf regarding a legal matter. So now, what does the law says they have to do for legal matter? All right, the law says the complaint filed by the creditor's attorney to commence an action regarding a legal action. So what I want to do, I want to stick to using the words the law used. So the law speaks on action. So I'm going to say, I received a presentment from an agent on your behalf regarding a legal action. Okay, ACTION. So it's important that you keep and use your own words. So with me, I like to use your own words. Attorney General for Illinois is helping me with my right of rescission. Let's go, Jason. Let's go. I want to see your testimonials when you're done. Make sure you're sending out your presentments too to the state attorney general. All right, make sure. That's great news. All right. So the complaint filed by the creditor's attorney to commence an action based on a consumer credit transaction will need to have attached to it a copy of the underlying contract or loan agreement or the charge-off statement. All right, boom. This part here. So if they're filing a legal action regarding a charge-off, they must produce the Form 1099-C that shows that the charge-off actually happened. So a lot of times creditors and debt collectors will have charge-off on your consumer report, but when you ask them for the 1099-C, they're going to tell you that, oh, it's just listed as a charge-off and we didn't actually do the charge-off. That is inaccurate and false information that they are furnishing on your consumer report, and you need to be able to get those items deleted from your consumer report, right? If a cause of action is based on a default credit card, the complaint must also provide the last four of the account number, the date and the amount of last payment, the name of the original creditor, and an itemization of the amount claimed to be due broken down into principal, finance charges, fees, and cost. All right, so let's put this in the letter. So I'm saying, I am hereby requesting in good faith a copy of the required documents that you filed that you filed that set in motion the present activities. I don't know. That doesn't sound strong enough to me. Documents set. That doesn't sound strong enough to me. I'm requesting in good faith a copy of the required documents that you filed by law pursuant the Consumer Credit Fairness Act. All right, cool. That sounds much better to me. All right. Send copies of the following. All right. So what I'm about to do right now is request all the documentation that substantiates claim by. Ooh, I like that. I like that. Let me see. I'm requesting in good faith a copy of the required documents that you filed by law pursuant the Consumer Credit Fairness Act that substantiates your claim. I like that part. Thank you, Dr. Kimberly Barry. Thank you very much. I like that part. I'm going to add it to it. Fairness Act that substantiates your claim on the matter. Boom. I like that. Yep, I definitely like that. I added it to the letter. You got a charge off on your credit report that you're trying to get rid of. I have a charge off deletion guide. I also teach how to delete your charge offs in the university. So if you go to DoraineDelevante.com, go to DoraineDelevante.com and just type in charge off, or if you go to the university, type in Consumer Law Secrets University, you will be able to join the university and you will be able to get the charge off. Do we send a letter to the debt collection people or the credit bureaus? There is no credit bureau, and the letters are going directly to the debt collectors. All right, boom. Charge off statement. All right. Copy of underlying contract. The complaint filed by the creditor's attorney to commence an action based on a consumer's credit transaction will need to have attached to it. All right, boom. So I'll make these pointers. All right, so next is boom. So for this part, what I did was, what I read on the law, I broke it down. I broke it down to the point where I made them bullet points, right? Um, so I made them bullet points. Everything that I read in that paragraph, I turned it into bullet points based on the request that I'm doing. So breaking it down, like this is actually me teaching y'all how to write a letter. Like this, it's not the most exciting process, right? And writing these letters, it requires a lot of time because you have to read through the law and then you have to keep the same language without changing anything in the letter, because the letters are mirrors to what the law is saying and what you're demanding. So it takes a while to write these letters. I was able to get 4 done last night, but I'll probably just get 1 done tonight. But 1 is still better than nothing. And for everybody that's still on here, that's rocking with me, I hope you text validated. I hope you text validated to 917-810-3321. So I need y'all to text me, all right? 917-810-3321. Text the word validated to 917-810-3321 and join my debt validation masterclass on Friday. All right. So the second paragraph is saying, for any action based on a consumer credit transaction, after an action has been commenced and service effective, an additional notice in English and Spanish must be prepared by the creditor's attorney and sent to the clerk of the court with a postage paid envelope addressed to the consumer at the address where the summons and complaints were served. All right, so I'm going to request a copy of that. Requesting my additional notice. All right. So now I have requested my additional notice, right? And then I'm going to have underneath it the verbiage of what the law says that they're supposed to do. So the clerk of the court then mails the notice to the consumer, which explains to the consumer the consequences of failing to respond to the pending action and provides links and resources that are available to help defend against the action. If the notice is returned by the post office to the clerk as undeliverable, the clerk will not accept a default judgment for filing. A similar notice must be sent to the clerk of the court to forward on to the consumer if an answer is filed and the creditor's attorney files a motion for summary judgment. This notice provides information on how to defend against the summary judgment motion and resources available to assist in doing so. All right, so if the clerk mails out the letter the first time and it's undeliverable, right, meaning that it got returned to sender, there is no default judgment. So this is saying that if the court mails a notice which explains to the consumer the consequences of failing to respond. So when you get a presentment in the mail, you must respond to the presentment. But in the event that it went somewhere else, if the notice is returned by the post office to the clerk as undeliverable, the clerk will not accept a default judgment for filing. So if it's a return to sender, if the letter goes back to the clerk will not accept their plea or their motion for default judgment, because I believe there was no due course. This is great stuff. So I'm requesting the notice that they're supposed to send to the clerk. So I'm requesting a copy of that notice. Notice that was sent to the clerk. All right, bet. All right, to enter a default judgment, the creditor's attorney will need to provide 1. An affidavit of facts from the creditor setting forth facts regarding the underlying debt, the debt and the amount due, and 2. An attorney affirmation stating that after reasonable inquiry, there is no reason to believe the statute of limitation has expired. There are additional requirements for debt that has been purchased or assigned. So you can request these things, ladies and gentlemen. Wow. So if you're in New York, and if you get a presentment to show up to court, if you're in New York, this is only if you're in New York, I want you to read the Consumer Credit Fairness Act. Read the Consumer Credit Fairness Act. If you got a notice or a presentment that you should show up to court and you're in New York regarding an alleged debt, because this law is so powerful. Like, this law is like, it requires them to do specific things. All you got to do is hold them accountable for these specific things that they're supposed to do. And then now it says there are additional requirements for debt that has been purchased or assigned. So if it's a situation where the debt has been purchased by a debt buyer or it's been assigned to a collection agency, there's other requirements that is needed. And this is where now we're going to demand, right? We're going to demand those additional requirements. Finally, in the event a creditor seeks to affirm an award of arbitration, they will require that the agreement to arbitrate be annexed to the court petition, as well as the demand to arbitrate, with proof of service and proof of service of the arbitration award upon the consumer. The creditor must also ensure that the calculation on figures used by the arbitrator in determining the award is set forth. So if you go into arbitration and we're talking about numbers and figures, the arbitrator must show how they came up with those numbers. I mean, this is really big stuff. The legislator has tasked the chief administrative judge to provide Spanish translations for the notices and form affidavits discussed above, which will be promulgated into New York Code of Regulations. Creditors should keep in mind the new 3-year statute of limitations. All right, so a lot has changed. So first round is just really just asking them stuff and telling them to provide some new stuff, and when they don't, you take action from there. So I'm not gonna make this first letter too long, right? So I'm gonna close this out now. Yours truly. First name, last name, and then under it, I am going to put all rights reserved. And all right, all rights reserved. We're gonna close that down. Boom. So this is CCFA part 1. So this letter will be called CCFA round 1. All right, I'm only building one letter tonight. Guys, I'm really tired, so I'm gonna go to bed in a few. But what I just did was, based on the new law in New York for debt collection, I just made the first round letter. Basically, the first round is just to shake the tree to see what falls off. So there's a put in their initial filing. So if you get any presentment in the mail from any agent regarding an action that a debt collector, debt buyer, or collections company is going to take on you, there's certain things that must be done. So what we're doing here, we are requesting in good faith copies of these documents that they were supposed to file to see if they're in compliance with the law, because the law outlines what they need to do and you got to hold them accountable. So you got a letter from an attorney. I just made an attorney letter. It's a debt validation letter that's sent directly to an attorney. I literally just made I made an attorney debt validation letter. There we go. I have many videos. I have many videos. They're all over YouTube. They're really everywhere. These lives are everywhere. YouTube is everywhere. But I'm really tired right now. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go to sleep. But tomorrow night I'm gonna start from 8 o'clock. Tomorrow is what? Wednesday. So I am gonna start the Zoom at probably around 8, and we're gonna kick it for about 2 hours. The key thing is I need y'all signed up. I need y'all signed up for the debt validation masterclass, because that class ain't no joke. Yeah, so with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, do you have a video that you can? Yeah, like I said, there's many videos, but most of my most sophisticated video is inside my mentorship. No problem, no problem at all. Get inside the university. Consumer Law Secrets University. Get inside the university. Um, are you going to put the letters in the university? Absolutely. The letters will be added probably Saturday or Friday. Or you know what, better yet, when I'm finished making the letters, I'll probably have the team upload them to the university right away. So, yeah, that's what I'm going to do. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been a pleasure. I am really exhausted. So, I'm going to get off right now. We're going to pick this back up tomorrow. Make sure that you got your tickets, all right? So, I want you to text the word validated. Text the word validated to 917-810-3321. That's text the word validated to 917-810-3321. So text me and I'll respond, or I'll have someone respond, but more than likely I'll respond. And what we'll do is we're gonna pick up tomorrow on building out the other letters. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, have a wonderful night. I'm gonna see y'all tomorrow.